Hey Diaspora family, I hope you're all keeping well and I hope you're enjoying this series that I'm doing on building, all about building. If you have missed the last two videos, then click on the links below. We had the stages of building, how to build properly. We also had a Q&A on building, so make sure you catch up on those. But today I'm going to be talking about your building dream team, so you don't want to miss this video. If we haven't met, my name is Natasha. I'm the director of Diaspora Connect. And on this channel, I give you information and inspiration to help you invest in property back home in the safe and reliable way. So let's get into today's video, which is all about your building dream team. Who do you need on your team when you're building, and what exactly will they do? What will they be responsible for? All right, so the first person, and I think actually the most important person on my building dream team was my architect. That's why I keep inviting him back to this channel. So if you've seen the last few episodes in this series, then you'll know that the architect that I used was Itwi Liwena, and he helped me with my project. And he's really important. An architect is really important to your project because they're the ones who understand, first of all, the plot where you're going to be building. They understand the limitations, they understand the advantages, and they look at many aspects that you and I might not necessarily take into account, like the orientation and things like that. So they also have to translate your vision for the property, which is what exactly do you want to build and how are they going to make it come to life. So when they understand that from you, they're going to prepare concept drawings and you're going to have a few discussions, a few back and forths, but once you agree, then they prepare the construction drawings. Now these drawings are really important because this is what they use to get planning permission. And this is the process that Itwi and I followed. I had limited space in the plot that I had, and so we discussed what I wanted to achieve, which was an investment property which I could develop for on-selling. And so he was able to come up with concept drawings that were in line with what I wanted to accomplish. The other reason why an architect for me is the number one person in my building dream team and should be in yours too is that they can also supervise the construction. This is super, super important because you know what? We're all good at different things and we are all professionals in different things. So for me, I'm a real estate agent, I'm a lawyer, I didn't know anything about building. So I actually really needed my architect to be on the ground and supervise the construction. So your architect can do the same for you. And they're going to know exactly what has to be done, when it should be done, and most importantly, where it should be done. So you don't have to worry about whether it's going on properly. If you have a good architect, then they're going to make sure that everything is being done according to the very same construction drawings that they've prepared on your behalf. So depending on the size of the project, you may also want to consider getting a project manager. Now, in many cases, the architect can also be the project manager. And what their role will be is to coordinate the different subcontractors. So let's just say, for example, you have your bricklayer, you've got your plumber, you've got your electrician. Now, if you're not using a general contractor, then your architect will be able to act as a project manager and make sure all the conduits are going in the proper places during the building stages. So it's not something that has to be done afterwards or something that has to be corrected after the structure has already gone up, which can be really expensive. The second person that needs to be in your construction dream team is a quantity surveyor. Now, a quantity surveyor will prepare a bill of quantities, and this is a list of all materials and costs that will go into the building project. I think this is really important because it acts as a financial guide to the project. You need to know and have a really good estimate over what everything is going to cost you. I mean, individually, you can think, okay, kitchen units, tiles, etc., etc. But a BOQ prepared by a qualified quantity surveyor is such an important step in your budgeting. In addition, a BOQ can be involved at a very early stage, even as early as the concept stage when your architect is doing the drawings that we talked about earlier. And what this will do is they will work together with the architect to make sure that the project remains on budget. And where there are cost overruns, it'll be easy for you to identify the reason why there are cost overruns. So the third important person in your building dream team is the contractor, of course, because they're the ones who are actually going to build. Now, I prefer dealing with a general contractor because they generally come with everybody, such as the plumber, the electrician, the bricklayer, etc., etc. Unless, of course, you're getting specialized things in your build. So like solar panels, maybe you're going to have part of your home or part of your project, which is solar powered, maybe an inverter system, or even a smart home. Then you might need a specific contractor just for that. But otherwise, I think it's really advantageous to just have a general contractor who comes with his own team. So the other thing the contractor will do is they will come with their own BOQ based on their estimate of the materials that will be required in the project. And their labor fee is usually a percentage of that total cost. So that's why it's really good to have a quantity surveyor, because you can compare and contrast what your QS has provided and what your contractor has provided. Now, if the contractor will be getting the materials, then of course, guys, they're going to add a markup. And it's up to you to determine whether you're going to be providing the materials or you're going to rely on your contractor to do that. This is where also your architect comes in really handy, because he can actually study both BOQs and see where the mismatch, if there are any mismatches, or where the misalignment is coming from. And he can advise you accordingly. So the contractor is important because, like I said, they're going to be the ones doing the building, but they have to do the building according to the construction drawings that the architect has prepared. And the contractor and the architect actually work really closely in hand. And a good contractor will contact the architect when he comes across any challenges or when there are any problems, because the architect is really there to ensure that everything goes smoothly and any problems are quickly resolved. So the fourth important person in your building dream team should be an engineer. Now, of course, there are lots of different types of engineers. There's electrical engineers, mechanical engineers, but mostly for building, I think the most important ones are civil engineers. So for my project, as you guys know, it was a double-story build. So I needed a civil engineer to make sure that the build was structurally very sound. So his main job was to ensure the structural stability of that structure. And that starts way at the beginning, at the stage of foundation. So it was really important that he was included at a very early stage. And all of that was supervised by my architect. A civil engineer is also important, not just if you want to go double story, but also some people actually like to go below. So they might be building a bunker or even a basement. And a civil engineer will be important in terms of the reinforcements that has to go in the walls and also in the staircases and things like that. They're also really important when it comes to drainage, the use of water circulation, and sometimes even sewage. For those of you who are doing single-story structures, there's some houses which have really big open spaces and no reinforcements such as a supporting wall or things like that. People just want a big open space. And even in those cases, you want to ensure that you have a civil engineer to look at your construction to make sure that the roof is being supported. Okay guys, so that was who was in my building dream team. The architect who you've met before in previous videos, the contractor, and in my case I used Martin, and he was in my videos on the project. And if you haven't seen that video, then I'll leave a link for you below. A quantity surveyor who was really helpful in me planning the build in terms of the budget, and of course an engineer who was critical, especially since we were going double story, but also critical if you're single story. So I hope you found that useful. Leave a comment below and let me know if you're building, who is in your construction dream team. Otherwise, press the like button if you like the video and share it with other Zambians in your community. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you don't miss any videos where I give you advice, tips, and information on the real estate market in Zambia. And let's talk on social media. Until then, bye.